There is a system that saves my sanity, keeps my kids fed, and helps our homeschool run smoothly, and I do it all in one day. I'm Ashley Buffa. I have been homeschooling for 18 years. I'm still homeschooling 8 of those kids. I've graduated 3 of them. Yes, that is 11 children total, and I run a household of 12. Let me show you exactly how I set up our household, basically our kitchen. I set it up for our whole week in one day. If you're already thinking, hey Ashley, I just need help right now, I created a totally free download called the Homeschool Rescue Plan. It walks you through the exact system that I wish that I had had years ago. The link is below in the description box if you want to just go ahead and grab it now. Part 1, why a reset day matters. So decision fatigue is real, especially when we have got a house full of children, we've got a home to manage, we have homeschool after homeschool after homeschool decision to make. And to top it all off, we have to get dinner on the table. So I remove 90% of my weekday food decisions on Saturday. This is how I lead my week instead of reacting to it. And this is a big reason why our home stays calm, even when everything that's happening in and around it is anything but calm. If you are always reacting, then you are not leading. And so your home is more chaotic than it really needs to be. Let me share with you how I lead by being prepared. Okay, let's discuss my weekly meal prep system. Now, I use a loose system here. There is plenty of room for variability, but it helps me to do my menu planning if there's Taco Tuesday, sheet pan Thursday, pastas on Mondays, grilling on Friday, that type of idea. So this way I'm not reinventing the wheel every single week. Another thing that I've done that's extremely helpful in eliminating that decision fatigue is I made one master list of all of the menus that I make. So there's close to 40 different menus on there. And that means that's not like, 7-course menu or anything. It's, the main dish, vegetable sides, starch sides, everything that goes with the meal. So I'm not having to think that through. I just listed it all out on one document. So then when I go to meal plan, I don't have to remember what it is that I make, what it is that the kids like. I have the list all in front of me. And grocery shopping, I almost never go into the store anymore. I really take advantage of grocery pickup. So this means that I shop at Sam's more often than I shop at Costco because Sam's has a free pickup option. Costco does not. It also means that, I've just started recently using the Kroger delivery. There's actually a way that you can clip coupons, have it delivered on Friday and get 4x fuel points, which, if you spend as much on groceries as I do, it adds up and you get basically a free tank of gas once a month, which, it's not huge, but every little bit counts, especially when you're driving a 15-passenger van. So when things start running low throughout the week, I keep an order open and I just add to it so I don't have to remember everything. I keep the order open and then I click and have everything ready. I have my Kroger delivery done on Friday so that I can get the 4x fuel points, and then on Saturday is when we pick up at Sam's, and thankfully I do have a lot of drivers who still live at home, so I can usually send somebody to go do that for me. It saves time, it saves money, it saves my sanity, and then I have everything that I need to start getting everything prepped. Now, here is everything that I prep. Okay, so I go ahead and chop cucumbers and carrots up so that they are ready for lunches and for snacking. We don't do, prepared box snacks or anything like that. We just keep it simple with fruit and vegetables. But if they're already cut up, it means less mess throughout the week, and it also means that it's ready. Roasted beef. So I buy a whole bottom roast of roast beef. Well, it's not roasted yet, but you know what I mean. You can actually see that video. I'll link that here. So I have a video on how to cook that. And then we slice it thin on our meat slicer so that we have a whole week's worth of sliced meat for sandwiches. I go ahead and finely chop up shallots and onions and put those in their own containers so that that's one less step I have to do when it's time to make dinner. It makes things faster. I go ahead and mix up a big container of our house vinaigrette. I'll share that recipe with you if you want it, but basically it's lemon, it's white balsamic vinegar, Dijon mustard, olive oil, herbs. I go ahead and mix that up so that it's ready. Homemade mayonnaise, Sandwich bread, I make that from, I grind my own wheat. You know, I have that homeschool stereotype going strong here. So grind the wheat and make the whole wheat sandwich bread. When I have time, I make egg bites in muffin pans. Those are a quick breakfast. I can share that recipe if anybody is interested. You just need to let me know in the comments. If I can, a big pot of soup or chili to freeze for a busy night. I don't usually batch cook full meals for the freezer, but I do like to prep components of those that just help my week go easier. Okay, so let's talk about the fridge and freezer reset. Before I prep, I like to clean out the refrigerator, get all of the leftovers that have gone past, wipe up any spills, try to keep it looking fresh. If you do this once a week, it's not a monumental task anymore. So those leftovers get used up or they get thrown away. Like I said, we have chickens, we have a pig, so usually they don't actually get thrown away, they just get thrown out to the animals. Space gets made, surfaces get wiped down, that type of thing. So everything that I prep has a spot, it gets labeled clearly so that you know, everybody knows what it's for, everybody knows whether or not it's fair game. You know, I have adult children still living at home that work, that go to school, and so, you know, I don't want them getting into certain things, but there are other things that they are free to take for lunches and things like that. Future me always is thankful for Saturday me. Saturday me is very tired, but future me is so thankful for the work that she did. Then I like to take time resetting the different zones in my kitchen. Coffee and tea station, it's ready to go. Baking supplies, topped off. I actually usually have a child do that. Fresh dish towels, fresh aprons, like all of those things that I need to make the week go. I'll have my husband sharpen the knives, make sure that I have all of my cutting boards, that they haven't, you know, gone to the four corners of the home. It's not about perfection, okay? This is not about having the Instagram worthy kitchen with like everything perfectly, you know, this is not what that's about. This is about being ready for whatever happens during the week, knowing that you have your food taken care of or as close to taken care of as possible. Let's talk about child involvement because listen, I am not a one-woman show. I have 11 children and all of these children know how to do things and they do things. So my teens are involved in different parts of the process with, you know, the roasting of the meat. I have one of my sons, he seasons it for me and gets it all ready, so I just have to stick it in the oven. My husband is our bona fide meat slicer because I'm actually pretty afraid of that machine, but he loves doing that. My younger kids will help chop vegetables. They'll help refill, you know, pantry jars and things like that with the flour and the sugar. My 5-year-old folds the dish towels and takes things out to the pig and the chickens. So this isn't just about getting help. This is about training up your workforce. These are life skills that your children are going to need once they are out on their own. This is part of homeschooling. Now, I'm not telling you to count this as math or science. That's not the kind of homeschool mom that I am. However, they do still need to know how to do all of these things, and the best way to learn is practicing them weekly. This is not just about getting help and not having to do everything yourself. This is about practicing stewardship with your children. You are not just feeding them, you are raising them to be well-rounded adults. So then here's what happens next, the result of all of this work. Lunches are packed or grab and go is ready so that it takes as little time as possible the night before. Breakfast is prepped and it is a peaceful experience. Dinner does not derail the whole homeschool rhythm, all because one semi-exhausting day of prep gives me 5 days of homeschool peace and freedom. And that freedom, it lets me show up, not just as a cook or a cleaner, but as the woman that I'm called to be in this home. Everything I just walked you through, this is a result of the homeschool reset plan. You know, if you feel like your homeschool is just out of control, going nowhere, accomplishing nothing, you're behind, you don't know what to do about it, this is the plan that I created for you. The link is below in the description and it's totally free. So if this sounds like the reset that you've been needing, I invite you to try it with me. Even one small change this Saturday or Sunday could change and impact your entire week. And if you want to see how I reset our homeschool area and the house, you know, the cleaning and all of that stuff, make sure that you're subscribed and turn your notifications on because I will be creating that video in the future too. Let this be the year that you stop surviving homeschool and start actually leading it proactively with confidence. You don't have to follow the crowd, you just have to follow the fruit. I'll see you next time. Bye.